Hello, and welcome to Survivor Debrief. My name's Eden Porter, the unlucky loser from Survivor Titans vs. Rebels. With me, as always, is my comedic partner and real-life brother, Josh Porter. Josh, how you going?
I'm pumped. It's been such a great season, such a great series of episodes, really big players, really big characters going, but this season's been incredible so far.
It's been very good, Joshua, very good. Although I'm not liking this trend of some really big, fun players going home back-to-back. I think this is our fourth really big exit.
Well, yeah, it's something I kind of want to touch on a bit later, but maybe we'll tease it now. Just the idea of should some of these bigger players had banded together a bit more, because we've got all these people in the middle, these numbers who've risen up. The revolution is here, Eden.
The revolution is right here, right now, Josh. It's wild. And look, I'm disappointed to lose, obviously, some interesting people that are really pushing the votes forward, but it's giving this, basically what happens is when a big player leaves, there's this sort of vacuum and a new person comes up to take their place because they've really built up a lot of these pre-merge characters and early merge characters.
It feels quite rare for us to be so invested and engaged with a lot of these people who barely made the merge.
Yeah, and so then when they go, you're like, oh no, there's a big hole for the story. What's going to happen? And then a Ben pops up and a Ben starts going crazy.
Totally.
Honestly, these are the people that now have this opportunity to fill this space. And as a result, I think by the end of the season, this cast is going to be very memorable. Like there's going to be a lot of them that are going to be really memorable.
Absolutely.
Because of the editing. Like good on them.
Yeah, it's awesome to see.
Let's just get into the episode now. So we're in episode 11 and it starts off with, remember, we just had Faith go.
I believe we're in episode 13, Eden.
Oh, is this episode 13? Oh my God, this is crazy. We've just had
There's
Faith.
just so much Survivor going on.
There's just too much going on, Josh. So Faith's just gone home, and then it's interesting that Mark has to rebuild this relationship with Keely, and this will go through these next couple of episodes.
Yeah.
But for the fact that Faith was always the middle person between them, these two start working together really well. Like, really well.
And it's interesting. It's almost like not having that little bird on Keely's shoulder and both of them communicating.
You mean Salacious Crumb?
A little bit like that.
Yeah.
Now Keely's like, well, I don't have that offsider to work against Mark with. I have to just work with Mark now. So good play from Mark to actually take away to weaken Keely.
Oh, it's all about weakening the players, isn't it, Josh?
It is.
And he does just tell her straight up. He's like, yeah, Faith just told me that she was going to cut me at the jury, so I just got it. And Keely's like, yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah,
that's so fine.
Yeah.
So then we're into the challenge, but it's not really just a normal challenge, Josh. Of course, this is drop your buffs. This is the merge. And it's really, Mark does something weird here as well. Mark takes massive ownership for the Faith blindside in front of everyone. He just says, by the way, guys, I did this huge move and she was my number one and I got rid of him. I'm like, I know he's just trying to own it at this point, but it was wild to just do that in front of everyone.
And just talking about merge, Eden, what does that feel like when you reach merge? What is that feeling like?
It's so good reaching merge. You become dateable once you've reached merge. But it's a different part of the game. And then you really can go, okay, I can win individual immunities now. I can take control myself. I don't have to play for anyone else. This is my game. And it is one of those awesome bucket list milestone moments because you at least get to the point where you can really have a crack yourself and really see how you stack up against everyone else. And I know I was great. Look, we see Simon crying, just absolutely like this is the best. This is amazing. And David makes an interesting point. He goes, now you're at the merge. Don't get to the end without a story. Yeah, and this sort of starts to really permeate in a lot of these middle players. They're like, we got to start owning some things here. And I think this little context clue like really goes through these rest of these episodes with really firing up the rest of the people. Mark breaks down in tears as well. He just wants to win. He just wants to win.
He's hungry.
He's hungry for it. Yeah, he loves it. And so then we get into the actual challenge itself. And of course, straight off the back, I'm loving this. Big challenge, big reward straight away.
The barrel and spool, as I call it.
Barrel and spool. But Josh, what's up for grabs? It's a car. And what is the brand of car?
Mahindra Scorpio.
Mahindra Scorpio. It's a cool sounding car.
It is a very cool sounding car.
Now,
do you want to know one of the most disappointing car things I've ever experienced? I think it was...
What's that?
It was as another similar brand. Where we're at, I think it was at Rising, and they had this thing where there's this digger station, and the body can just decide in 7 seconds based on taste and flavor what it makes up its mind on, and that's what we're doing. And they had like these tasting platters, and you go in, and we thought it was like an art installation thing.
Yeah.
And we go in, and they come out with this tray of things and go, try this. It's this incredible flavor thing, and then we're going to reveal this thing to you, and we think it's like some cool art thing, and then we have that, and they drop the thing. It's like, it's this new car, and we went, it sucks. It was just like,
what?
What is?
It was an advertising campaign.
It was entirely an advertising campaign, build up to be like some sort of artistic, interesting art piece, and everyone was kind of like, you could literally hear them go, oh.
That is,
but
so
not for a
weird.
Mahindra Scorpio though, Ed. Not for a Mahindra Scorpio.
Look, it's an Indian car company. They're blazing their way into the Survivor community. It's going to be the new Pontiac Aztek moving forward.
It is. There we go.
It is going to be it. Look, not as expensive as the Isuzu, but they're bringing cars back, and I could hear a collective anguish sigh from the cast of Brains versus Beauty 2, who got no car. So they got no car, they got no merge feast, and they got no set for life. And honestly, that's Parvati. That's Parv and Tony. They did the world season in there. You've got to think
that was the budget.
They spent it all there, and so these guys didn't get a car. So I'm really happy they've got it. Like, a car in this sort of game is it's actually such an awesome prize, because you can then lose and feel like you really got something cool out of the game.
Especially merge as well. Like, it's a nice capstone
so
to be like, hey, you made it to merge, and here's a really exciting reward for you guys.
Yeah, and it's so good. But Josh, one thing you got to have your car sub-saw in your back pocket. Never have I seen a group of people come together that have the most terrible cars.
I know, right?
Mine hasn't even left the driveway. Well, mine got blown up last week.
Mine doesn't have any wheels.
Yeah.
And very, very quietly, people like Rich are probably like, Probably don't really need this car. But
got a couple of cars back home.
There'd be really would be a few people who would be like, well, am I allowed to get this? Like, if everyone's got these cars.
I would love Rich to win it and give it away to someone else.
That'd be cool. That would be cool. Because was it Mark's thing that he had hail damage on his car? Wasn't
Mark's got a car sub story. I would have loved Mark to come back with another car sub story.
Yeah,
this time. You know the new car I got? I crashed it. It's ridden off. So I really got to have another one.
Literally 2 weeks. Guys, on the way to the airport.
You would not believe this.
You bet, guys. I need it just as much as you guys.
I need it, guys. Everyone has a car sub story, so everyone deserves it. But they do it. It's the barrels. You got to have good core strength in here.
Yep. And Sal takes it away in the end.
Sal takes it. She wins a car. Good on her. She really needs it. Love it. Then we have the merge feast, a proper merge feast. We didn't get. We had that. You could either go find an idol or have a feast.
Yeah, that's a bummer. Yeah. I think just always have this. Like, totally just be like, this is the exciting moment. You're into the next stage of the game.
Everyone there.
Congratulations. Like, that's what I mean. Like, to me, it is such a important, crucial thing to be like, all right, get ready. This is going to change now. And also those first few chats straight away, like, you're really seeing conversations happening and people talking about where people stand and all this kind of stuff. And I think that's so valuable, and it's such a shame to lose that.
Yeah, honestly, I think when we hit merge, so obviously Scotty in our season quit on our merge episode, but that was going to be Kitty. Kitty was going to get voted off. And it seemed like everyone really coalesced really quickly of like, oh, yep, Kitty, oh, yep, don't tell Eden and Caro and stuff like that. Let's just all do it. And then they didn't get to do it, and then the game moved forward. But I actually think a lot of that was because, like, I didn't have my feelers. Mark didn't have, we didn't have feelers at that merge feast to really get a sense of who you could work with and who was there and stuff like that. And we came in pretty cold to the merge. And that hence why one of the things I didn't really have those same connections, which I should have. But I wanted that idol, man. I wanted that idol so bad.
If you had that,
it would have been so good. But there's a couple of fun things. One, Caleb bites the face of the pig off. We always get these weird, little. Let's go. I just want to keep referencing, and let alone him going into the ocean and grabbing a fish out of this, and it's all over. It's all over the internet. But this is Gollum-esque, Josh. This is Gollum at the stream, Caleb eating the live fish in front of everyone. So I would love Caleb to get an idol and call it his precious. I think that would be very good.
Coming up.
Rich has a little pocket name for the tribe in his back pocket. He's just had that ready to go.
Yep.
I'm like, good on him. It's always nice to be the person to name the tribe. And
Shall we move on to the immunity challenge?
Oh, there's one more thing. Mark tells Brooke at the merge that he's got an idol. So you can see that he doesn't tell Simon, and you can see that he's like, yeah, I'm all in with Brooke. This is great. And that's when they also do the boomerangs. They meet up at night.
Boomerangs, the returnee, the boomerang.
Now, not to be confused with the Billie Eilish boomerang idol. These are
No,
just the boomerangs.
Yes,
the boomerangs.
just the flat boomerangs.
And there was we'll get to the scramble in a second. Let's just get to the challenge. What was this one?
The big metal beams holding on with the ropes, and one of my all-time favorites. Long-time listeners to the show will know this. Based on a percentage of your body weight.
You do love percentage of your body weight.
35%. It's a good number.
So anything percentage of body weight wise, if you're not strong and thin, it's going to be tricky. Like if you're big guy, like those massive guys with lots of muscle are going to get dominated, and then people that are like maybe not super fit, but like this is not a good challenge. Percentage of body weight is terrible for me because I'm tall, so I'm slight, but I'm a bit taller, so my percentage is sort of out of whack.
But your weight's quite light. So isn't that
it's not that white because I'm taller. Like it should be.
Don't lean on the tallness, Eden. Yeah, come on, mate. You're quite thin. You've got an athletic build.
Not anymore, mate. I got a dad gut now. I tell you what,
I saw you hold those barrels. I saw you.
Look, I'm no Mike White taking my shirt off, being like, "Whoa, you're secretly ripped." Charles was pretty ripped. I called Charles Secret Superman in my season. He was pretty ripped.
But I think the hardest part with this is always the grip strength on the rope. And it's almost like annoying because it's like your hands get sweaty and you can't quite hold it and that kind of stuff. Like, do you find...
I'm sweaty, Josh.
Yes.
Mum's spaghetti.
The rope's like spaghetti as well. Like, did you find when you're doing these rope gripping ones, often it wasn't necessarily your muscles giving out, it was just like your ability to grip the rope properly because of sweat and stuff?
A little bit, but part of it is, it's going to sound weird, part of it is mental though. Like we did one where you had to hold up a barrel. It wasn't body weight, but it was just holding up, and you just mentally, it's when you stop concentrating. It's honestly when your brain goes somewhere else, you drop it and you go, damn it. But these ones are just tough when it's just you against your body weight. Just one-on-one, and it was really hard. And Brooke wins. Great winner, Brooke. Rich yells out that she wins her immunity every time she wins. But I don't think she won it in All Stars. I think Shani actually won it in All Stars for the first one.
Fact check.
Still fact check over here.
Interesting as well to see Caleb do well. And
that was interesting.
That was quite surprising. So we'll see if that puts him in good stead for challenges later down the path.
Yeah, and so now Brooke has basically put herself out as a bit of a challenge beast straight out of the gate. But we then go to the scramble. One thing I found infuriating at this point was Caleb, Sally, and Lottie are having this conversation about we've got to get rid of returnees. We've got to go straight for the returnees. How about Jackson? And then they suddenly get on Jackson, and they all get on this Jackson sort of bandwagon.
I think this was to weaken Ben as well.
Okay.
I think we'll try to weaken someone else.
You've got to weaken someone else.
You do.
And so the scramble is sort of the Beauty and the Beasts pull in Mark and Keely. They've got a majority, and they go, yep, we're getting Lottie out. And really, when you break it down, what's shown in the edit is that Keely puts it to Simon. Simon is like, yep, I'm all in on Lottie. And then they give it over to Mark, and then those two are like, oh, good, Mark's going around and selling it to everyone else. And this does not put Mark in a great light at this point in the game. It puts him out there as someone running around corralling another vote. Because everyone does think that this is another Mark vote.
Yeah, it's interesting to see like him obviously wanting to really know what's happening and know that the plan is going ahead, and they choose to keep Caleb out of this because they're worried about him. Like all of these things, you really feel Mark, and we hear it in the next episode a bit of really wanting to be in control and really understand what's going on. So it doesn't surprise me that he wanted to do that and was very comfortable doing that. I don't quite know if it's like a blind spot or just like an active choice. Because you feel like someone like Mark might identify that as being problematic, to be like, of all the people here, I'm the one running around, and that's really, really obvious. So I don't know if that is heat that is just heat that he's willing to take to keep control of the game. What do you think?
I think Mark is making a conscious effort to do that because he's like, I'm going to make my target so big that I'm going to be the best shield for everyone. I think he's already got a big target. So him doing nothing is not going to win over anyone else. Him doing more is people going like, Mark is so big now that we can get rid of Mark at any point. And that's really, I think, Mark's game moving forward in this part. I think he goes, that's my only way forward in this game. Just become this huge target.
Yeah, and what do you feel about the reasoning and the threat that Lottie could be the one to pull together these outsiders? Do you think that's real?
Oh yeah, Lottie was definitely someone that could rally the revolution,
Yeah,
as it's called. But it's funny when you cut off one head of the snake, a new one comes through, and Ben comes through straight after Lottie's
yeah,
gone.
yeah,
But Lottie, I think this whole thing happened because of the Lottie Simon relationship breakdown, and I think Lottie didn't do a great job of consolidating with Simon. She basically said to him, "I'm not going to work with you until you get rid of Jackson."
hmm,
And as a result from that, I think Simon's like, "Yeah, look, I've lost Lottie," and you don't want to leave someone in the game that's pissed off with you and wanting to eventually get rid of you. So you want to
yeah,
burn them. Same thing happened with me and Alex. When we voted, we thought we were voting Alex off, but he went to the other tribe. He felt more betrayed by me doing it to him because we were closer. And
yeah,
then
right.
and then when it came to it, he was very willing to turn on me, and I needed him out of the game. Him
Yeah,
being in the game, there was that reason to
it's
sort
not
of
neutral, and it's not a neutral anymore. It's an active negative against your game.
Yes, yes. With the scramble, there is one conversation. I think it's between like Mark, Keely, and Brooke, and then Caleb walks in.
Yeah, yeah.
And he's like, "So what are we talking about?" And they're like, "We're just talking about getting rid of like Ben." And he's like, "Okay, cool, yeah." And then he leaves, and then Mark grabs everyone.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Word to the wise moving forward: never be the first person to leave a group, and if you are, look around and see if they've
See if
actually
they
left.
stay.
Because
Yeah.
if they've not left, something's happening that you
Yeah.
need to know about. So
Yeah,
that's a
yeah,
that's a
yeah,
good
yeah, yeah.
that's a good one in there. But this is and then it all sort of comes together, and Lottie's on the wrong end of the stick at this point.
Yeah, so if we jump to tribal,
Yeah.
I think a few interesting points that were made. We heard Brooke talking about holding her cards, and I find that a really interesting thing. Like particularly from all these returnees, I'm finding these things about the stories that they can tell and
Yeah.
holding their cards and where they're positioning themselves. And I find that's like it's a really point of difference between the three returnees. And how they're going so far. Like Mark obviously being so big and bold and doing so much activity now, as the others feel a little bit like waiting in the wings and just massaging it a bit more.
Yeah.
Particularly Brooke seems to be entirely in the shadows. Simon seems to be jumping around and slipping between people a lot, which is a bit nerve-wracking.
I think Brooke's probably in the best position. I think when you look at these episodes as a group as well, and how sort of everything comes about. I know Brooke wins a lot of challenges, but no one is actively at this point being like, as soon as Brooke loses, she's next. And I actually think a lot of this comes down to just likability. I think people really like Brooke as a person.
It seems that way because it's weird that her name has not been on people's lips really at all.
Yeah.
I also really enjoyed Simon's comment about you'll end up being a 0 vote finalist if the only thing you do is this big move at 4 or 5, which is interesting. Like trying to not necessarily convince people to play, but like, are you nudging these players to kind of do stuff? Like, I don't know how that benefits him too much.
But this is what I mean. It doesn't. Like you guys are the targets. You guys are the people that you should make a move
you should
against.
You should be encouraging
the opposite. You should be like, guys, let's just get to the end. Play smart. Let's get to the end, because you know what? You can't win unless you're there at the end. You can't pitch your case unless you're there at the end.
Yeah.
So don't blow yourself up.
Yeah.
So that I thought that was sort of like reverse psychology. I'm not sure where that worked. But Lottie's gone. What did Lottie do wrong? I think her relationship breakdown with Simon, that she couldn't. It was too obvious that she'd burnt all that. She tried to flatter Mark with like, "I loved your season, Mark." I'm like, good one, Lottie. I like your style, Lottie. But she tried to sort of say, "I was on the bottom, use me, use me, use me." But really, the Beauty and the Beast alliance, that was a big group of 5, and this is what the other groups didn't have. They didn't have this big group that had voted together already once and improved itself to each other.
Yeah, I think she got a bit stuck. It seemed like she was going to be in a really good position of leading these people from the bottom, having no ties. But it just feels a little bit like hitching your wagon to the wrong side. You've hitched it to Aisha and Cam, and then they've been on the bottom, and now you're actively lost Simon in that process. So it just seems like almost that was the moment when she was getting a bit too chatty with Aisha, and then she was clinging to that and being like, cool, this is the space I want to be in.
Yeah.
I think that decision really led her down the path of then being against Simon and where she ultimately sending her out of the game.
Yeah. I think Simon just wanted revenge and wanted someone out that wanted to get him out. And so there was not much she could do about it at that point. And when Keely was on board, it just was a wipeout. Poor Lottie. I think she's a great big pre-jury character.
Yeah, I thought she was awesome. Like, I think her reading of when to push and when to pull back, it's like, it seemed like she was doing it right, but it didn't quite work.
Yeah,
I think
did
the
it
target,
on purpose. She did
the
it on
target
purpose.
felt too big, too early, I guess.
She put Aisha out there though, and that worked. She became
Yeah.
the target when they flipped, and she
Yeah,
went
yeah.
out first. And then after that, she was like, "Okay, that saved me once. I need to reevaluate." And she just couldn't get her feet back under it, unfortunately.
One question for you: do you think this is the best move for Rich, Loz, and Sal?
No, I was going to say they have it. Loz and Rich have a conversation about this exact thing.
Yeah.
And I think 100%, I don't think it helps their game at all getting rid of Lottie at this point. I think they want to break up one of these other, like a Mark or a Keely or something like that, to stop them being this swing vote.
Yeah,
Because,
I feel like Lottie, where she was a much more useful number, like a powerful player, but really felt kind of on her own and a good number to scoop up.
Especially for these sort of these passengers, Rich calls them at one point.
Yes.
He calls them all passengers.
Yes.
So yeah, I thought that was, interesting. I think that's just a case of merge vote. You just don't want it to be you. So you're just going to listen to whatever the consensus is. And you go, yep, this is cool. I don't want to ruffle too many feathers.
Thank you. Well, let's do it later.
Yeah, let's do it later. I can't find the button.
Didn't quite have it. Sorry.
Episode 14?
14.
Yeah.
1-4.
Lottie's blowback is Cameron is flying solo. The Beauty and the Beast Alliance take full credit for this.
And guess who's left out again?
Caleb's left out again, my friends.
Leave me out. I'm sick of it.
Caleb is like one of those people that, I don't know, he's in a toxic relationship, especially with Mark, and he keeps coming back to Mark. And
but he seems really aware of it. It's really interesting. Like,
it's
we sort
so
of got a whiff
weird.
of it last week. I hadn't seen it yet, but he seems hyper aware of his position, and he does feel a bit stifled in his ability to do anything about it. And it's quite
Mark
interesting. But it's quite. But it doesn't. From the confessionals, it doesn't sound like he's eating it up that much. You know what I mean? Like, it's.
But
really
why does he keep going back? Why does he keep believing them?
I guess because he's still working with the people who are getting them out. You know what I mean? Like, it's not like he's on the wrong side necessarily. He's still like moving forward with them.
Yeah.
He's not necessarily against them.
But he's not in on the vote though. Like, he's not in on it. He's not helping with the decision making. And like, Mark does his best to encourage Caleb. Like, you know what? Actually, you and me, Caleb. It's actually you and me now. And he's like, oh, okay. But Caleb actually does it better than Lottie, I feel, in this case. Like, Caleb just eats what Mark's serving him and goes, yeah, good on you, mate. Yeah. And then I don't think Mark picks up, because obviously Mark tries to use him for these other these other votes.
Yeah.
He doesn't quite pick up that Caleb is not beating. So I think Caleb did a really good job.
It seems that way, yeah. I think
doing that.
Mark underestimated Caleb in a lot of ways. I think Caleb covered his tracks really well.
And the returnees are feeling really on top of the world now. They feel like we got through the merge vote. We weren't targeted.
Yeah.
And I think Mark uses about 4 metaphors. He goes, they're all sheepdogs. We're like octopuses, and we're peering into their brains. He was loving it.
Mark.
He was putting them all together. Some octopus sheepdog that can.
It's like the things. John Carpenter's The Thing. That's what it is.
It's Cthulhu. It's basically Cthulhu. That's what Mark is going for at that point. But the returnees and Keely are sort of a big group now, and they're feeling really good about everything. Simon makes a fake idol, which will come into play a little bit later on.
Yep.
Good on him for he's really come into the game with a lot of little things that he wants to do.
Trying to do stuff, keep it active, keep it interesting.
But we've got to work, Josh. It's a brand new tactic on the street, on the beach now. You got to weaken people.
You got to weaken them.
Got to weaken people.
But what I mean,
Josh.
Eden, you can't take them out. You just have to weaken them.
Just weaken them. Like, we've got to weaken Mark by taking out Caleb.
That's a good idea.
That's what you got to do, mate. That's what you do. And
also,
so
interesting that Caleb is so heavily seen as
just
a tight Mark ally. And Mark, but every time he's like left out of the vote and he's like kind of doing what they want, but like not really in on it.
But not really in on it. And yet they're going like, the best way to get at Mark, it's not to get Keely.
No.
It's not to get like Rich, it's to get Caleb. It is weird, man.
Yeah.
Which makes me feel like this group has trouble reading the relationships.
Based on what we've seen, maybe they were
maybe
spending a lot more
really
time than we realized.
like no one is really picking up that like Mark and Brooke is the actual core. No one is picking up
Yeah,
that
that's
like
true.
that Mark and Caleb are not as close as people think, and Mark and Keely are super close. It's
seems
really
that way,
strange.
yeah.
It's really strange. Which challenge is this, Jay?
This was the immunity challenge. We had the boys. Everyone had their buoys, as they would have said in America. And then you had to roll, and that was in the two teams. You had to roll the ball up the hill onto the up the ramp onto the thing.
So this is teams and then splitting up.
Yes,
Teams.
yes.
I don't love team immunity challenges because I feel like if you're the best person, you don't necessarily get through.
I don't mind it for a reward. I think for an individual immunity, I think it should be individual immunity for the whole thing. I agree.
Correct.
It's like to have that chance taken away from you at the individual part of the game, I don't really like. But
no, I don't like that because I'm a firm believer in the fact if you really need something, you should have the chance to try your hardest. Because if there was someone that everyone wanted to get out then someone just throws that first bit and just goes,
true,
I can't get my ball out. I can't get my ball out. Oh,
well,
sorry.
we did actually see for the first time Mark Costa in the hero position, the last boy. He failed. He couldn't get it up. Could not get it up there.
The last Boy Scout, he couldn't quite get it in, and they lost. And so Mark was really, really on top of these challenges in the team portion, in the tribe portion of the game, and sort of fallen away a little bit now.
Yeah, it's a shame.
It's interesting. It's interesting.
Simon wins in the end, which was quite close between him and Jackson. But yeah, good to see. It's interesting. Like, do you feel like as a returnee, the nature and the style of the challenges you inherently become better at, or is it purely just an individual skill thing and your abilities? It's not so much about being a returnee.
I think if you've played similar challenges before, you sort of have a feel for it. It's that parlor game sort of esque. Some people are just slightly better at it than others. This one, I didn't like, the puzzle element where they had to put the planks.
It looks like they were just in order.
They were just in order. You just put them in order.
Yeah, it didn't look like they were not in order. It was
just give it
strange.
to them. It's fine.
Yeah.
The ball roll was fine.
Yeah.
I think some people innately are good at this stuff, but the balance ones are body type and if you're good at that stuff. And
the other good little element of this one I like is the twisted net.
Oh, dude, I love the twisted net. Now the twisted net, it's actually quite hard to do that with something in your hand, with a buoy in your hand, because you actually should turn and twist to get yourself. You can't burrow. You've got to actually, like, your whole body. You've got to grip the edges and rotate.
You've got to grip and flip, Eden. You've got to grip and flip.
I say that every day of my life, Josh. Grip and flip. But with a ball in hand, the grip and flip is much harder.
It's very hard.
And so I think that's why they did it. And Ben got caught up in this for a while and stuff like that.
My favorite thing about the twisted net is people massively flipping the wrong way.
And you know what you need to do? You need to tell everyone, you keep reminding them, flip right, flip right. Because it's when you're in the moment, you do forget that sort of stuff. So you want your rest of your team helping you out. But yeah, that more mud. Ours was covered in mud. We were choking on mud.
Love a good mud pit.
They love it. And then we get to what else?
The scramble. We get to the scramble.
Sorry, hang on. I have to call it out. Josh, that challenge, it had a little bit of hashtag rope management.
Bit of rope management.
It was right there. Thank you. The Golden God himself does rope management. We know we love rope management. Rope management and Monkey Fist podcast coming soon. The spin-off.
That's the podcast within a podcast.
That's the podcast.
One of the segments on the Monkey Fist podcast is rope
management. Yeah, exactly. So thank you to the listener that reached out on Twitter that was like, they said rope management. Love you. Then Simon wins, and we're back at the beach. Mark and Ben and Jackson try to come together to form the triangle offense, the 96 Bulls, Josh. Yes. Everyone's got to have a name. Everyone's got to have a name.
I'm all in on the triangle offense.
This alliance does not have much life in it, I don't think. I think it's just let's just
it's just I guess it's just Mark trying to work with more people, and it seems like they're gearing for the easy vote of Blanche. It seems like that's where the feeling is, that it's an easy vote.
I feel like Mark just went into I'm running things like mode again, and he just approach them and say, it's Blanche, mate. She's gone. This is easy. Bang, bang, bang. I don't think anyone likes being told that.
No.
I just don't think anyone likes really being told it.
You've spoken before about the idea of to get the numbers, you have to tell people the numbers already exist, even if they don't.
100%. You have to
so
say
how do you tread that line of like, hey, we've got momentum here, and it doesn't feel like you're just dictating someone what to do?
Personality management. So there are some people that if you come to them, you're the last person that they come to, and that they feel like they're the bottom of the, oh, well, what, it's already been decided. Oh, okay. There are some people that are like, great, thank you, it's all on board, I have to do this. And there are other people that will internalize that and be a bit annoyed. And I feel like the boys took that. They took that, talking about the 96 Bulls.
They took that personally?
I took that personally.
That's really good. That's great. That's your best one for the season, Ed.
There we go. Finally said something funny.
I think as well for Ben and Jackson, we really see them ratchet up their gameplay here and their ownership and their momentum of the game. And I think trying to dictate to those two in this position, I feel like as we're talking about that power vacuum now, I feel like they feel that that's their moment and they're stepping into it. And it was so surprising from what we've seen of Ben so far to see him flourish so much in these last couple of episodes.
And just so much personality as well. So
absolutely.
Much. It seems such a shame that we didn't see anything of him in the start of the game, because he's got one-liners, he's got quips, his voting confessionals are on fire. Yeah. Like, I think the next one he does is like stain remover to get rid of marks.
Yeah, there
like,
you go.
Really, like, that's great. That's right up there. I love it. The other thing that happens in this scramble now is obviously it starts off as who's the initial target? Blanche.
I feel it's kind of Blanche, yeah.
And then the boys aren't on board with that, and then everything sort of fires up, and then it becomes
newbies versus returnees.
Yeah,
that's where it starts to settle.
Very quickly becomes, this line is drawn, and it's suddenly like, oh yeah, we need to get rid of the returnees. I feel like the returnees did they work so hard to have their web of relationships, but when you look at the board, you're like, oh yeah, because Simon lost Lottie, Mark doesn't have faith here anymore. Simon's sort of like, he's on the outs of the Beauty and the Beast tribe. They're not 100% on board with him. And it is weird. Brooke, who does Brooke really have? Like,
it seems like she's all in on the returnees. Like, it seems like it's been really interesting for them to get to this point, and then all of a sudden, as you say, with the snap of her fingers, it's like, oh no, they're 4 on an island, including Keely.
Yeah.
And it's like, what is it, because that they had to eat themselves alive over on, I can't remember, whatever Mark's tribe was.
Yeah.
That because they got down their numbers so little.
They didn't get that consensus.
But on the other side, it doesn't seem like that they have really locked in these alliances at all. And particularly Simon, it's like he just kind of is burning all of his alliances, and you don't quite know how he's navigating through. So it does seem like the returnees are all in on the returnees, and they were waiting to get back together, and it has cost them those other relationships, it seems.
Yeah, and so then Mark is the target now, because they've gone, and Ben is really the one leading this. He's fired up. He wants the revolution. So he tells Rich and Caleb, and I don't think he needs to tell Rich. I think he needs to read the room and know that, like, okay, Rich is sort of, he's on board with Simon and Mark and all this sort of stuff. This is a classic newbie mistake, I feel like, that you want a consensus vote and you want everyone on board, so you sort of leak it out and you get it out there. But I was always like, no, let's just tell the people that you need to tell. You've got the numbers and you don't risk anything else, because what ends up happening is Rich feels bad and goes, how are we going to tell Simon? You know what? I'll tell Simon. I'll be the one, because Simon, so Rich has seen what Lottie and Simon did in terms of their breakdown, and he's like, I'm not going to let that happen. I'm going to tell Simon. I'm not going to be in that position where Simon doesn't tell Lottie and they break up. He's like, I'm going to at least let Simon know.
I've got a question for you.
Yeah.
Who is Rich's strongest ally in this game?
Apparently, it's Simon.
It seems a little bit like that, right? Like,
apparently Simon is his ride or die.
It has not felt that way. We saw him be super tight with Mark, trying to get on with Keely, but then this conversation, I think, speaks to, no, Simon is my guy, and I want to keep in good graces of Simon.
And I feel like Simon maybe doesn't hold Rich in that same echelon of standards, because ultimately he doesn't keep it to himself. Brooke gets brought into it. Then Brooke obviously goes to Mark. I know Sally ends up telling Keely and Brooke as well. And obviously those guys don't want to, and this is what it comes back to them reading the relationships. Like, those guys don't want to turn on each other.
Not
And
yet.
you're
No
letting them
way.
in. You're
No
letting them in.
way.
And then Brooke is talking about, let's let Mark know at Tribal Council what's actually going.
Well,
but the
and it
web
was
is the killer. It's the web, Josh.
It was so fascinating, Brooke, but that discussion around like, well, we've just got to make it Bennett Tribal. That's kind of what we're going to try and do. Like, we've run out of time. It's just this information's come up. So, and I think that's the confidence these returnees being like, yeah, we can do that. We can absolutely make this happen.
Yeah, and they feel confident that they can do it at Tribal Council. And I would know if Mark did get a sense that it had turned.
I was literally going to ask you, should Mark have felt those vibes being a bit off, that 7 of the people around were all gunning for him and he didn't seem to clue onto it himself?
No, there seems to be a little bit of a blind spot there, and it wasn't until the guys knew for sure what was happening that it actually got put forward.
And it was the look from Brooke.
It was the look from Brooke. It was the look from Brooke.
That's what did it.
And so then that kicked in, like, this is happening. And it just solidifies this Brooke-Mark relationship is the real core relationship that they've wanted to work together this whole time. So then we get to this crazy Tribal Council, Jay.
Yeah.
Mark is such a huge target. So Mark is putting that out there that he's a big target and you should keep him around as a shield, which is a good idea. Simon's like, I'll give you my fake idol and you can try and bluff and all this sort of stuff. Now, did you notice the seating arrangements? The seating arrangements are newbies on one side and the returnees on the 4. So they're really setting this up so they can talk to each other and things can shift at Tribal Council. So then we have this weird moment where Mark gets told, things are happening. Mark wants to try and find out who's done this.
Yeah.
Who's done this to me? And then he goes off with Ben. And I think Mark does the old move where you pretend to know
just to
get them to confirm. You're like, man, why'd you do this? And he goes, I had to, buddy. I had to. And then Mark knows, okay, this is real. And Ben is targeting me.
I really liked that moment because I liked as well to be like, let's go at each other. Like, let's not back down. May the best man win. Like, I really, really love that. It's like, you really don't see that these people gunning for each other are like, well, you've got your plans and your soldiers and I've got my plan and my soldiers and we'll see who comes out on top. Like, I thought it was awesome.
Yeah. And so this is where this is where everything breaks down to me because it becomes very evident. They sit back down. Mark starts holding out a little idol like, hey, mate, this is what I've got, rah. And so there is a double bluff element there because usually if you're showing off an idol, it means you want to not use it but scare everyone off. We see Rizzo do this in 49 and stuff like that, and then people don't sort of vote for you. There is an argument to say if Mark makes this idol really apparent, then can you get away with them not targeting you because they're like, well, Mark's got this idol. We don't want it to blow up.
This I find interesting, right? As first-time players, something like this happens, you feel like the plan is in jeopardy. What are your thought processes there? Are you thinking, okay, so if Mark doesn't play it, do we switch the vote to someone else, but then he might not play it? Do we just play it? So we flush the idol at the very least.
So this is what infuriated me with this episode, man. So there are 12 people in this game. You have 4 that are tight that you are knowing you're targeting, and there's 8 of you.
Mm-hmm.
In what world do you not just do a 4-4 split on Keely and Mark at this point, and then it doesn't matter what happens? It's insane. It's screaming you in the face.
Live at Tribal.
I don't care, man. You just go, Ben. You go if you go. Okay, Mark might have an idol now. The plan going to Tribal was everyone on Mark. We can't do that anymore. So you go, guys, this is what you do. You go, guys, they already know. The lines are already drawn. Everyone's talking about it. You already know what's happening. You go, guys, 8 of us, jump up, come over here. You do exactly this. You go, come over here. Mark's mucking around with the idol. There's only 4 of them. There's 8 of us right now. 4 on Keely, 4 on Mark. It's split. We revote. We get rid of whoever doesn't use the idol. Then it's locked in. We're all safe. We move forward. I think Caleb would have eaten that up as well. I think everyone would have eaten that up, and that's how you play this. It's just so obvious.
It's not that obvious. Like in that moment, man, when they're thinking about it, talking about, they didn't even discuss the split beforehand.
That was the cardinal sin, by the way. That's them not going, hey, what happens if this happens? You've got to have
exactly. They hadn't thought that through, and then the worst fears are realized. Mark actually has an idol. I think it is so hard for someone, especially when you got someone like Ben who's been driving it, that clearly like he's taken these steps, but maybe those extra strategic steps and that further planning. I don't know if anyone in that group of 7 has like someone like Lottie maybe would have figured it out. Someone like Faith, maybe someone like, you know what I mean? Like there's a few of these people. Maybe Cameron, like he's been pretty spot on with a lot of his reads. Like I'm surprised he didn't come up with something potentially.
Yeah, I'm not that surprised. I just don't feel like he's been the one to push anything. Cameron hasn't put anything together, so I don't think he's going to stand up. But in this situation, when you're going, okay, the plan's changed, and if he votes this way, if he uses the idol, then one of us is going home. That's just, you just know that's just a huge risk. And when you can split, Josh, like
I know you can.
When
you're
you
right.
can split,
Yeah.
like it's not like on Titans versus Rebels when we were in a 6-6 and it was dead even and we couldn't split. And we're just like, okay, well, we have to make this. The only thing that can blow this up is if someone plays an idol correctly. So you've got to try and outthink where they're going to play the idol.
And now the other strange thing, we had a little moment between Rich and Sal talking about, do we change it to Blanche? And it's kind of like in this moment when you know that Ben is the overflow and he's not the one, like Ben should be the one ranting and raving to be like, hey guys, really nervous now. Could be me. Let's do something different. Let's switch the vote. I'm surprised that didn't happen. But the others to feel like, oh, should we change the vote? I don't really know. It's like, if your name's not out there,
you just go,
just leave it. Go, well, we'll either get Mark or we get the idol out.
Yeah,
cool.
fine.
And if it bounces off, at least it's not me. So I'm surprised that we didn't hear that from anyone to be like, well, I'm not next on the list. So I think it's fine.
And so then I don't even know how this sort of happens. Just all of a sudden, Mark just decides, oh, it's Richard.
I think what he kind of said to Ben must be real in terms of like, I'd rather know who's coming for me directly than the person that I thought was an ally and who is not and cannot be trusted.
Yeah, it just seems like you've got a relationship with someone that you could work with, or you've got zero relationship with someone that's coming at you.
Yeah, that's true.
I know he's thinking, but I think the reason that this sort of went and like happened was because Rich was complicit. They came to Rich with the thing and he was like, yep. I don't think Rich telling Simon and those guys was to inadvertently save Mark. I think that was Rich going, I just want everyone on board so I don't feel like I'm betraying Mark. But Rich did agree to get rid of Mark. So Mark coming back at Rich is fair game. Really.
It is. It was a bit surprising for me. Like, Rich has felt like that he's proven himself as someone who wants to play and can do interesting things, that if he's giving that information to Simon, you must feel, cool, he's got a close relationship with Simon, he's built a lot with me. That's another number for our 4. But I guess in that moment, he's saying he's not, though, really, isn't he? So it's it's a bit foot in, foot out, right? We're the half measures of telling Simon almost. It's like,
but then if you look what happens in the next episode, how different is this if Rich is still there? That someone like Rich and Caleb are both in the mix, and then suddenly you got like, guys, we could do stuff. We've got
and
a
I feel like
relationship.
Rich is much more open to working with you guys.
Yes.
And I feel like what was sort of said as well about like these players are wanting to they just want to get rid of one of us. They just want to go, we've got to get rid of some of these returnees. We're going to leave it too late. We've got to get rid of some of them now. But it was a really exciting tribal to have all of this happening live. And then,
oh, dude, it was so good.
And then obviously we end up seeing Mark playing the idol for himself, which good call.
Yeah. Oh, great call. Of course. Great call, Caro.
Just checking.
Just
Aiden.
Amazing call. Because ultimately, there you go. I was just thinking that if Mark doesn't have an idol, doesn't play it here, Mark goes out in the exact same spot I did.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So Mark goes out the last before jury, and
there
it's
you
just
go.
and by the grace of an idol God does he. And so I know he tried to fake it out, but I think you've got to feel that they didn't shift everything dramatically and just play it. You've got to
if they're not getting up and having a group convo, you're probably like, I don't think they're swapping it.
They're not swapping.
I don't think they've done enough to swap it.
And then they gave Simon back his fake idol, which I'm not sure how much that did anything.
I think that's lost value now, right?
I think that has lost value. I think that's lost a bit of value now, because why would Simon give it? Yeah. And then, so Mark does not count. I think he negates 7 votes.
Yes.
And then there's 1 vote on Brooke.
Yes, from Caleb.
It's Caleb. So this is interesting to me because Caleb does a bit of retroactive confessionalness in the next episode. In Caleb's confessional, he says, I'm putting 1 on, I know Mark's told me that he's playing an idol, so I'm putting 1 on Brooke in case things go crazy. One, when they're voting as 4, one vote on Brooke doesn't do anything. It doesn't do anything.
He said, I've just thought of this right now. So I think in
so
his, but in that moment, he is doing anything he can because like, well, these votes aren't going to count. I have to do something like that. It's the next step of that is then roping in 3 other people to be like, hey, let's put these somewhere else because if he plays the idol, we're stuck.
Someone really game savvy goes, I believe Mark's got an idol. I believe he's going to play it. Before you go, you just got to grab 3 other people and say, we need 4 on someone else because I feel like Mark's going to, because if you're already turning on them, go full tilt.
Agreed.
As Colby would say, go full tilt. And so Rich lost. I think Rich, he went half measures by telling Simon and then ultimately gets back to Brooke and everything gets out of control. And he sort of didn't, he was caught in the middle. He was caught in the middle playing both sides.
Is there any value in bringing someone in on a vote who you don't expect to also vote that way?
There's no, because it's just going to stuff it up. So, and what happened? Like this blew up Rich's spot.
Absolutely.
And he was just trying to do the right thing.
But it still seems strange. Like, did Rich do anything wrong at Tribal, or did we putting it down to largely telling Simon beforehand?
I'm putting it down to Tribal. I'm sorry, to telling Simon beforehand.
Yeah.
I don't think at Tribal Rich did. And look, really disappointing that Rich didn't really get a chance to fight because he didn't know his name was out there. Things just shifted at Tribal Council and he went home.
And I think we'd seen him when those numbers were dwindling. He was willing to fight and work and push and try and get people and talk and making those conversations happen. So it is a shame that like what happened in the blink of an eye during a Tribal and it's like it's happening really quick and then all of a sudden it's your name and then like what? Like I did feel it was a bit sad to not have Rich have a chance to fight because I think he'd shown himself to potentially be able to make something happen potentially.
Yeah, and a lot of interesting parallels between me and Rich going out in this position. I do feel like there was that nature of the vote got flipped onto me and it was at Tribal Council and there was not a lot of fighting that you can do at that point.
Yeah.
And it just going out just before jury as well.
Yeah.
Just like, and just having someone's like change their vote and get it thrown onto you. So I do feel for Rich just missing out on this.
And the one moment I really loved was Mark and Rich sitting there being like, he put my dad, he's like, well, I'll tell you later. He's like, you sure about that? That was such an ice cold line from Mark. Really good to be like, you sure about that? You sure you're going to be here? Because I don't think you can be here, man.
Yeah, I know that was brutal. That was pretty brutal. And then, so then Rich is gone. Unfortunately, I think everyone was really liking Rich.
He came good, very quiet early, but felt
from
a bit
swap
like
onwards.
Felt a bit like one of those players though. Got a bit stuffed in the scramble, never really latched on to anyone in a real way. Like it didn't seem like he had this really core alliance that we've seen for some of the others.
I think he had Simon, and then Simon voted for him. Simon just pulled it out and just went, you know what? It's see you later. You know what they could have done? They could have it could have been a minority split vote. The minority ends up putting 2 on Rich, 2 on someone else, and then then everyone has to decide who goes home.
Pick who you want to get rid of.
Should we go into the last episode?
Episode 15. Ben in total control.
Ben and I've never seen like power go to people's heads as fast as Ben and Jackson.
Crazy.
We're doing this. Like they instantly became different people overnight.
But is that the excitement of really playing Survivor?
Yeah, I think so. But gotta stay a little bit humbled when you
gotta stay humble
and
get
hungry. Excited
and hungry.
And hungry. You gotta stay hungry, Josh. But you can be excited and up and about, but you've got to still balance that between we're still playing a game. It's all about relationships. You don't want to be seen as the people that are running this. I think at one point they say, no, mate, once we get out these returnees, you and me are the only smart people left in the game.
Yeah, I know, right?
Oh, God.
There's a lot of people left.
Guys,
now, one question I have for you at the head of this episode, it popped into my head. They've got this massive target on their back. And we saw that conversation that was like between, I think it was Ben and Mark being like, hey, we've got room for one more. If you want to, you can be one of the returnees this round. Did the returnees shoot themselves in the foot a bit by having so many of them around that they are a unit and are more heavily targeted?
Look, that's like one returnee left probably isn't as threatening as this sort of
block
conglomerate group.
Yeah.
I think the returnees were doing a really good job coming in from different angles. I think if Simon just stays with the Beauty and the Beast alliance, and he's got that sort of group, he's got an in there. Mark comes in with Keely. Brooke comes in, well, with a secret Mark connection, but like obviously like Sally and Lottie, she maybe have had something with them. I feel like they did a good job sort of coming from different angles and keeping that together, because Cameron wasn't in that alliance.
No.
So you get rid of maybe a Cameron and a Blanche,
Yeah.
and you try and continue that we're not all together, all the newbies are together, and you whittle it down, and then suddenly they can't split votes on you. You've got a majority. You can use idols effectively.
It almost feels like they came together too quickly at merge.
Yes,
they maybe shouldn't have worked together. We'll go, hey, let's not work together yet. So long as our allies are safe, maybe let's not try and work together, kind of thing. Because it did strike me as like they were so visible here from merge.
But good on Ben for rallying everyone in the last episode.
Absolutely,
though, because without that, they didn't have to band together. But they did out themselves. They did go, yeah, we're all working together. Yeah. Like it became super obvious. And I think Brooke says that at the start of this episode. She's like, I think we really outed ourselves. And they're like, oh, we've got to do some groundwork. And they all do try and go off. Like I know Simon goes back to the Jackson Bens. They do not want a bar of it. He's like, I thought you were Beauty and the Beast for life, man. And he's just
really
like,
strangely though, again, saw Simon get a little bit tongue-tied with a very obvious question. And him going into that comment like, really strong social game, guys. And then like straight away, first question, we saw it earlier in the season as well, just really sort of fumbling his answer through. I was like, I don't know if you really thought through this conversation, man.
And then I think what he ends up saying is, I stand by my decisions in the game. I just stand by them. I'm a stand-up guy. I'm going to stand by my decisions. I'm like, I think you need to win them back over somehow, or you need to explain it to you need to explain it in a way that shows them that it sort of helps their game.
Agreed. Yeah, give them some strategic reasoning why this is beneficial or can be worked with or can get them further in the game as well.
And it's a shame because I do feel like Simon burns a lot of bridges with the Lottie vote out.
Agreed. Yeah.
Like and the Richard vote and all this sort of stuff. Like, yeah.
The other interesting thing we saw coming into this episode was Mark keen to flip on Simon. I think Mark sees like,
yes,
the only way to save my bacon here is to probably flip on one of these guys because they want one of us. And I think this is a good read from Mark to be like, I think I need to sacrifice someone, and it's an individual game at this point if I can just stay a little bit longer.
And we know that him and Brooke are super tight, and he sees Simon as expendable. And then Simon turns around and does a similar thing with Mark as well. And it's like, I'm fine, I'm fine doing that. Yeah. It is funny how they seem really tight, and they're like, we're all really tight. But when you actually get them separated, they're like, Keely and Brooke are like, yeah, that's fine. This is when we'll do this. This is when we'll do this.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And if that was more known, then they may not look like a huge threat.
That's true. They're a bit more factionally. Should we move to the reward challenge? Yes.
Yeah, the high tea with the macarons.
This was the pole making and then the slingshot. So team stuff here.
I think Simon knows how to work a big pole. Is said at one point, so it's still in there.
I did like the bend up, the snap bend of the pole to get the key.
It's a good one. You got to know how to tie sticks together in Survivor. You just got to do it. You got to do it, mate.
The one thing I did quite enjoy was Cam pulled the short straw. He pulled the white rock. At this point, the short straw was later.
Yes.
To be able to bet on the winner. So we've got Polly Market in Survivor now. It's
live.
Betting on the reward challenge. I quite like this. It doesn't do too much in terms of strategy, but it's like a nice little.
It's just like a little thing, and this ends up being a massive blowout. Yeah, like Brooke. Why was Brooke their tallest person to get?
Yeah, she must have been. That seemed very odd to me.
Because why wouldn't you just send like me up there?
She must have been this. She must be the tallest. Right?
It's so strange. But massive blowout, biggest blowout of the season.
Now the high tea, Edith. What did you make of the setup here with round the wall, going in one at a time, ring the bell?
I like the element of the bell ringing because it gives power to the people waiting. Because the other versions of this they've done is you get a time limit and you go one at a time, or you just decide when you leave. You do everything and then you leave. You do everything, or you have 5 minutes and you have that and you leave. I like the bell because you can screw people. I think they screw Cam over. They do that really quick. I would have loved a situation where like you tell the next person, you go, oh, wouldn't it be funny if you screwed them over as well? And you're the last. It felt very much like the Dark Knight when they're doing the heist, they shoot the person that does the last job. And they're just like until there's one person left. I like that element of it. I tell you what I didn't like. I didn't like the idol in the hourglass because it just gives it to the last person.
Yeah, I guess. But is there a chance that they run down the clock earlier and it reveals itself when there's 2 or 3 of them left? Like, that could have been interesting if it was a bit higher. Like, I wonder how that works.
Yeah, I think the idea was in these challenges, it's the person that goes in first, looks everywhere and finds the idol. And so
Yeah.
this is letting the person that goes last, it gives them the advantage to do it. Because there is no one in the world that is going, oh, I'll break open the hourglass and find it in there. That's what I didn't like about it. It was made to just give it to the last person.
Yeah. Fair. Well, so Keely finds it. Keely's got an idol now. Really, really powerful thing for her to have, I think,
a
for the
fake
position
idol.
she's in. Oh, that's
So
true.
it means that she
peeled
can
it
use
off.
the packaging of the real idol over the fake one that she's
But is
got.
that ever gonna? I always feel like fake
idols are,
because you're like, okay, then play it, dude. Like, you know, unless genuinely they can't really split it and they're nervous. Like, but even then, you're like, get it out and show me.
well, when when it is powerful when you can't split anymore.
Yes.
It is really powerful. If you can,
it just raises that question, right?
It raises that question as well.
Yeah.
I like this concept of I just didn't like where they hid the idol. I like the concept.
That's fair enough. That's fair enough, Eden. You're allowed to.
I know I am, Josh. Thank you.
Shall we move to the immunity challenge? One you're very familiar with. It is the bow balance one with the bow and the ball and you're balancing.
So I did this one. I think I came third in this one, beaten by Valeria and Scotty. So this was when I did the Eden Porter squat. Interestingly, no one did the Eden Porter squat.
No one did the problematic squat.
No one
made
had
it
done
more
their
difficult.
research and removed the tendons in their leg to be able to squat. No one did that coming to the season. No. This challenge is all about the balance beam. I feel like the control of the ball on the bow is quite
pretty
good.
Easy.
Another little thing that people did when we did it, they at the start you have a few test goes and they drop their ball in the dirt to dirty it up so it would have more grip on it.
Ah, there you go, cheeky.
So you got a little bit more grip on there, but it's really about your feet placement. And I was fine all the way up until the very end. I probably should have kept my dominant foot. I switched foots because the middle section I did the squat and I got out of the squat and I survived. But then when I did the last section, I switched my legs. I put my less dominant leg forward and I had my weaker leg back. Because I'd just done more. Like 20 minutes that way.
Yeah,
and I was like, oh, I'll change it up. And then I quickly realized, oh no, I need my dominant leg at the back. And then I was screwed at that point.
That's a shame.
The other thing that you can do is you can do double foot like this, or you can do T foot at the back.
Yep.
I feel double foot straight. Mark was doing the T foot at the back, and I think that leads on when you get smaller.
Yeah,
that leads to teetering.
I think being parallel makes more sense. You've got more surface area on the.
Exactly. Yeah. So that's your tips for the next group going out there trying to win the ball one, and then it goes pretty well. I think they go for quite a decent time frame there.
Yeah, it was quite nice. It came down to all the returnees plus Jackson. Like it was quite poetic to then even in that moment be like, this is the divide still. And then Brooke winning in the end, kept maintaining a balance.
And this is it is wild. The only people that have won immunity so far is returnees.
Yeah, right.
Brooke and Simon. And so that's got to be in everyone's head as well. They're like, we want to win some of this.
Yeah.
Brooke is a challenge beast. She's amazing. She's so perfectly she's genetically engineered to do well in these challenges. It actually is amazing.
Good to see.
Mark has to scramble now, and Josh, he hates it.
He hated backing off and letting other people dictate and him coming hat in hand and going, can you help me, please?
Yeah. The boys, the big alpha boys being in this position of power, I don't love it. I don't love their attitude. I don't love it.
It's interesting to see. So one of the big things that happened here was we had that big group chat of all the outsiders, right?
Yes.
And they're talking about there's 7 of us and 4 of them.
Yep.
And we're going to go 7-4. So let's do a split. Let's do a 5-2 split.
What is going on here, Josh?
Which doesn't make any sense. I think
Brad Culpepper is turning like he's absolutely hating this, and he's just thinking 4 into 2
4 into 2 doesn't go.
5. It doesn't go.
So I think they're just thinking based off the last vote. Oh, we've got to have a split. We need to have a split. So let's work out the split. Yeah. And they go, okay, well, they've got 4, so we need to have 5. So we don't. So 5's our minimum, and then the rest we can do is 2. It was just very strange to feel like that was the plan. And then I think what explains it all was that little bit of like Ben and Jackson afterwards being like, man, we just came up with that off the top of our dome, like right when we were there. I was like, yeah, that reads, that tracks.
Yeah, it's because it doesn't
work. No, it does
I
not.
don't understand. It's the same with Caleb, the vote before. That one vote, those 2 votes on stuff, it doesn't negate their 4 votes.
No, it's just the idea of the split, right? You've got to have votes going somewhere else, even if they're ineffectual. I think that's the lesson they learnt from the last one, which is quite funny because so much we'd heard from Ben in this episode and the last was around, we're ready to play now. They've taught us everything they can and we're ready to go. Like, now it's time to cut these returnees because we know how to play this game. Yeah. And then this is the grand plan. I was like, I don't know, maybe keep it around.
And this is the kick in the jaw that they're like, oh, that's what we should have done last time. Like, we should have done the split. We should have done the 4-4-4 split. And now they can't do it because they don't have enough people to do it. So you've got to think about these things down the line of like this. I was hyper aware of like, this is the last time we can split a vote. So we have to do it now. Like, we have to do it now. If we don't do it now, we can't split moving forward.
Well, I find in so many seasons of Survivor, it's like, you've run out of numbers. Like, the more numbers you have, it's all of a sudden you're like, oh, there's like 6, oh, there's like 7. But like, it'll just happen. It just creeps up so quickly.
When you get down to it, suddenly you need, oh, I need 5 people to split on this group of 9. And there's not 5 anymore. And there's not 5 anymore. So you're like, oh God. This is the rise of Caleb. This is Gollum going to Schmeagol. This is yes, let's go. So he wants to do something. He goes, I've been underestimated my whole life, and this is I credit where credit is due. This is Chef's kiss. This is the art of war. This is the first thing. It's false information. So he goes, and I've never seen I can't think of a clearer example of going to one person and just saying to them, hey, Mark, they've changed the vote. It's now on you, Ben. Going to Mark. Hey, Mark, they've changed the vote. It's now on you. And just let it play out.
And I think because both of them, it was entirely reasonable for that to have happened. Yes. They didn't even second guess it. Like, yep, that makes sense. That absolutely makes sense.
Now, Mark, unlike Ben, Mark asked follow-up questions.
Mark did. And it felt like Caleb was a bit shaky on the details.
And Caleb had no details.
No.
But I think instead of Mark going, okay, Caleb is doing something here, he goes, okay, Caleb just isn't listening, or they're leaving him out of the vote because he doesn't know what's going on. But realistically, he was pushed and he was like, what is the split vote? How many people are voting? Who's voting on what? And Caleb was like, I didn't think that far ahead of my lie. Yeah. I just wanted to tell you the start of my lie and then get out. And he just wanted to walk away. So good on Mark for actually drilling down in that. But it was so good and it worked perfectly.
It was great. It really
everything shifted.
And what do you make of this from Caleb to be like, trying to inject himself in the game, trying to have agency, trying to make something happen? Is this feels like his only move, right? Like, he's tried doing it the other ways by going with other people, but he's really taken his fate into his own hands here.
I think he's putting himself in the swing vote position. So what it ultimately does, thank you, is he can either go on either group of 4, because surprise, surprise, the 2 votes on Keely doesn't mean shit. So he leaves the 5, and then he gets put over onto this 5.
So let's talk about that moment.
But if you're in the group and you're worried about Caleb, you put Caleb in the minority split. So you put Caleb on the Keely. And you go, oh, Caleb, actually, can you chuck yours on Keely? So now it doesn't matter what happens.
If he flips, it doesn't matter. Yeah.
Yeah.
So let's talk about this. The 4, we're saying the 4 returnees. It also includes Keely.
Yes.
The 4 returnees appeal to Caleb. And the original idea is, what does Caleb want? But quietly, they're like, can we get him to do Ben?
I think Keely says, I think the initial thing is...
Yeah.
Yeah, the initial thing is a good strategy is to make him feel empowered by choosing someone. And then Keely goes, yeah, but make him choose Ben.
Yeah. Because he wanted Jackson, because Jackson slid in the past. Because they had those really fire exchanges. So it's like, maybe you should cash in on that.
Play into that, guys, because then Mark goes back to him later and goes, no, we should actually do Ben, bud.
And
we should actually do Ben.
And this speaks to, you're just repeating history for Caleb.
Yeah,
he does. He's really annoyed at you every time this happens, and this is your chance to really hand over power. And to be honest, I don't see that much of a negative impact here. I think you just want to lock in Caleb as best you can and go, mate, what do you want? You are in control of this vote 100%. Which way are we going?
This is when people get blinded by their own control of the game. They've controlled the game for so long that they feel like, no, I want Ben to go home, so we are going to make Ben go home because we've manipulated people in the past. Whereas this is the point in the game where I think you had to go, yeah, we actually have to give him some power, because Caleb senses, he has that sense of like, oh yeah, great, I don't have power again because you're taking it away from me. If you honestly go, you know what, Caleb, get your revenge on Jackson.
Yeah.
This is going to be sweet, mate.
Yeah.
Like, really do it.
Let's
I think you've got more of a chance. I honestly think you've got more of a chance. But
I think so.
like he said, they underestimate him.
I think they did. And I think Mark counted him a lot too close. Like, I felt like a bit of shades here between you and Alex in your season where you kept giving him different names and he kept trusting you and voting with you to the point he was like, too many lies, man. Too many lies. I'm coming back for you. Do you feel echoes of that? Do you hear the ghosts of the jungle?
I hear the ghosts of Alex's past. Although Alex did instantly like turn on us in that second vote when when we voted for Sarah. Like, he was voting for Caro in that regard. So we're voting for each other back to back.
Okay.
But there was a sense of, if you burn someone too many times, it is really hard to win them back. And they are in the back of the beach there, plotting to eventually get you. Because the people do feel burnt. They like, you keep telling me the wrong thing. Yeah. And Caleb is just, this is the time that he's finally got some control and he's going to use it. Do you think he was ever going to vote Ben?
I think
you were bamboozled a little bit.
I was up when it was coming to the vote. I was shocked to see Mark go. I really thought they'd got him in. I thought they'd done enough. And I think the beauty of them not understanding the split vote being the undoing of this was quite remarkable. And I'm like, oh my God, because this plan doesn't work if they don't do their split. If they just dump, the plan's dead in the water. It doesn't matter. But the very fact that they went for that split gave just enough taste. I was like, oh my God, they've done this dumb split and now it's going to cost them because Caleb could jump to the other side. And I feel like Caleb wanting agency, it makes sense that he kind of takes Mark out, but I also feel like he still made this happen. And I think there could have been an element there of like, no, I am the swing voter and I've chosen this with all the returnees. But I guess he feels he's got better mileage with the other people.
I think he definitely does. And I think from the edit wise, they are giving this Mark vote to Caleb. They're giving this Mark vote to Caleb that he's pulled this off. And it was fantastic. It was really, really good. Again, why isn't Brooke, like, I know Brooke's immune again this time, but surely at some point people are going to come for Brooke now. I think Simon's in really dangerous waters. I feel like when you look what Simon's done, he burnt Lottie.
Yeah.
He burnt the Beauty and the Beast alliance. He's burnt Mark now. He burnt Rich, who he was close with. I just don't know who Simon has left.
I don't know who Simon's got left. And I feel like it's probably going to be Brooke, the last one left. And I think she's going to get very, very far off the back of that because then they'll start coming after each other and she'll become that number. But they're not quite there yet, I don't think.
And so Mark goes home. Very sad to see Mark go. He was such a big player. Mark gets a little send-off. Little
standing ovation from everyone, bit of a speech.
Big character, big game player, and they got him. And it's all good, and he's going to the jury to become the mayor of Jury Villa.
Yes.
He played a really big game. He came in with a strat, play big, be a target. You're already going to be a target, and hopefully get enough people to want you as keep as a shield. And that did work. Like, sorry. Faith and Keely wanted him as a shield. Brooke
my big question to you, in terms of Mark's game, in the earlier votes, was burning Faith and burning Rich, were these elements that helped bring down Mark?
Yes, 100%. I feel like if Rich is in this situation at the moment, there are things that can happen here.
What if Faith's still there in lieu of Sally, for instance?
I think Faith wanted to keep Mark around for longer. Agreed. I think
there was probably a lot more people to get through before Faith is going to come after you because Faith still wants to keep the numbers, right?
Yeah.
So it's been quite remarkable the way this merge has just completely shifted to returnees.
Yeah.
Versus
I still can't quite pinpoint exactly when it suddenly became the newbies were like, oh yeah, we should just all team up against these guys. And then they were all like, oh yeah, they're all together.
I think it's a little bit of Lottie starting that conversation. Yeah. And then after they got rid of Lottie, they looked around and went, oh yeah, we can't just keep doing that.
Yeah.
We've got to, while we have numbers here, we've just got to get rid of some of them.
Now, I'm not loving the fact that we lost, Aisha, Faith, Lottie, Rich, Mark. Like, these are big characters all going home back to back. I'm like, oh man. But then again, I've got hope. If they've made Ben into a character now, they've got like Jackson. Yeah.
One big question for you, Eden. We spoke about these passengers, and I feel like everyone's playing in their own way. Did these big strategic players, did they need to work with each other a bit longer?
Yes. Yeah, they needed to keep each other as
There's
shields.
Is there too many spare votes out there that you can't control?
Yeah, you needed to get rid of some quote unquote some more passengers before. So I just think if you get rid of Cameron and Blanche, who are both on the outs, that people can get behind, then you're sitting pretty. What they didn't have that person that was pissing everyone off.
Yeah,
that's what you need.
Yeah.
You need
to
Don.
galvanize everyone.
You need a Don. Like, no offense to Don, but he was someone that was pushing people's
just rubbing people the wrong way, right? Yeah.
You've got to have someone like that because they're the focus.
Yeah.
And you can always have people like, oh, well, we've got to get out Don, or we've got to get out Tez. We've got to get out these people.
Was Kel a bit of a galvanizing character on your season?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Like if you kept her around, you could always get rid of her later. These big players don't have that person. Everyone seems pretty like on the straight and narrow in terms of that.
It's put us in a really exciting position, I think. We've got rid of some really big players, and I'll be really interested to see what this next little step is if Ben and Jackson retain power, or then it flips again, and maybe they start, the newbies start to go, well, now they're in charge, let's go after them. Like, I'll be really interested to see if this power vacuum keeps occurring, or these people leading just keep getting cut down.
Anyone at this point of the merge, anyone you think is a front runner to win?
I feel like Brooke just seems like in a really great position. I think she's going to be targeted, but not before Simon. Yeah. Keely's got an idol, which is pretty huge. But based on what we've seen, I'm like, I feel like that likability factor with Brooke, I feel like that might get her really, really far based on the people we've got left. Like, I can't also just thinking about what we've seen in the edit. Like, I can't see a lot of people winning here.
I actually think Caleb has had looking at the edit. I think he's had a really interesting story. I think this Mark move on him, sets him up to use that later on in the game.
Especially a bit of a triumph story, right? You've left out. Is this his turning point in the game, perhaps?
Yeah, I think he's right up there for me as well. Josh, should we quickly do Spin and Grin?
Spin and Grin.
It's tough.
It's tough. There's a lot going on. Is it Ben potentially?
Is it potentially Ben rising from the ashes?
It could be Ben. He had a really big couple of episodes. Got rid of a big scout with Mark. I tempted to say Brooke, but like she's lost people. So
yeah, she's lost some.
I think losing Mark.
I think maybe it's Ben.
Maybe it's Ben. Pretty big showing from Ben this week.
Pretty big showing. Good on him. Josh, and who ruffled feathers?
It was to rustle feathers, ruffle feathers.
It has to be Caleb for the beautiful Mark and Ben playoff.
I thought from grabbing the fish and eating it raw on the beach is why.
So the fish is.
You said rustle feathers.
There's a little fish there.
Yeah, that was very good. I think definitely. What a great couple of episodes. We had a good run of episodes.
This season's been awesome, man. Like, it's been so good, and I think it speaks to giving us these characters and showing us and making the pre-merge really interesting with these big players. It's been awesome. Really enjoying it.
Often the mistake of seasons is it's either like, oh, it was a really boring pre-merge, like it was predictable, everyone went home, and then it got exciting in the post-merge, or vice versa. Oh, the back and forth in the tribes were really good, and then a majority formed, and then they just picked people up.
Yeah.
But this has done a good job, so I hope it continues.
It feels really up in the air. Like, there seems like there's been a lot of fluid play. The most interesting dynamic I found the whole season is this willingness to not stick with your core alliance. Yeah. And just like cut off here, come back to them, cut off here, jump over here. It's been quite dynamic the whole season.
Yeah. Dynamic is a good word, Josh. Dynamic is a very good word.
Try
and find the Samoan word for dynamic. And that could be the next.
That's the
tribe name. Yeah,
the tribe name. Reminder to subscribe if you're not. Leave us a review on any platform you're on. It goes a long way.
Really help us.
And also just tell your Survivor friends. If you enjoy the show, share the clips. Tell people about it. We'll keep growing this show, and we can do more stuff. The Monkey Fist podcast may be on the cut. If we hit 1,000 subscribers, guys.
It could be up there. And you too can learn how to manage rope.
See you, folks. See you next week.
See ya.